Hello everyone, it's me again, Steedo. This time we're actually going to be covering every single buff slash nerf in DLC 7. This will all be in the free update, so we'll get it in a few hours from now. But I feel like it's best for me to say this, because normally when they buff and nerf things, they don't actually tell us, we just have to find out on our own. And I'm not going to waste too much time, I'm going to say the moves, what their changes are, and I'll give my thoughts on them after I've said the moves. The first 10 moves we have are Kamehameha, Bending Kamehameha, Spirit Bomb, Kaioken Kamehameha, Riot Javelin, Rebellion Spear, Charged Key Wave, it's supposed to say Charged Key Wave there, Time Turn Kamehameha, Rock Paper Scissors, and Consecutive Energy Blast. The super attack one, not the ultimate attack one. One thing I will say now is that with a majority of the beam attacks, they have increased the speed of the actual blast itself, not the animation. The blast itself, when you fire it, will move a lot quicker, and will also be easier to hit in a knockback, meaning hopefully we should see beam attacks never drop online ever again. So if you want to shoot someone back and then fire off a Kamehameha, it will most likely connect. They're not going to just fall out of it in a really awkward position anymore. Moves like Spirit Bomb that had its tracking increased, thank God. With Spirit Bomb, it's mostly for the return trip, not for the initial trip that they're increasing the tracking for. Which is great, because there's times where I throw Spirit Bomb and it doesn't come back and I'm like, what happened? Did it hit a wall or something? Did it stop existing? So I'm glad stuff like that's happening. For people who used Bending Kamehameha, or two of you, I'm saying now it's a good thing it did get buffed. There's a lot of stuff that I can't really answer, like the key consumption rate of Rebellion Spear. So maybe it consumes key now, but again we'll have to wait till the actual update to comes out to see if this is all true. The next moves we have are Kamehameha, Kamehameha, that's Goten's one, Menacing Beam, Demon Whirlwind, Justice Pose, Wall of Defense, Evil Flight Strike, Sonic Kick, Destructor Disc, Thundershock Surprise, which is the Master Roshi move where he shoots lightning, and Mega Destructor Disc, which I'm sure is supposed to be Super Destructor Disc. Again, these are pretty much the same as the other ones. They're just kind of making things connect better. I mean, you guys can see the descriptions on screen. Some things might have their names changed, like Evil Whirlwind is supposed to be Teen Gohan's kicking move. Yeah, it's supposed to be called Evil Whirlwind, not Demon Whirlwind. I think that's what the name is. Menacing Beam was a move added to us, I think back in DLC 1 or 2, I don't remember. But they're just trying to make things connect better online, as well as do more damage. And these apply for the moves that suck, quote unquote. When we get to the overpowered moves like Aura Slide, I think you guys would be satisfied with what they did to some of these moves. And the next moves on the list are Jumping Energy Wave, Key Blast Thrust, Tri-Beam, Dark Side Beam, I'm sure that's supposed to be Dark Eye Beam, Namekian Finger, Gorgeous Shot, Dodoria Headbutt, Dodoria Beam, Critical Uppercut, and Giga Boost. Again, they're just trying to make sure things work more than they don't work. There's a lot of changes, like Tri-Beam being unblockable. I don't know how I feel about that one, especially if they remove the waiting animation in between. But if you see someone doing a Tri-Beam, it's pretty easy to dodge already. You can just Snap Vanish out of it, or just fly away from them. It's not really a ranged move, so I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. And now we're going to cross over a juicy move quite here, in fact several, because there's a lot of things that they changed here. Giga Boost, Rise to Action, Aura Slide, Gallic Cannon, Time Skip, Flash Skewer, Divine Retribution, this one is a big one. Divine Wrath Purification, Petrifying Spit, Evil Blast, and Gallic Gun, and Finishing Breaker. Now, some people might be not satisfied with what they did to Aura Slide, but you have to also take into the consideration that the fact that the netcode fix is going to happen alongside the super attacks fix, which is good because the netcode fix will actually remove a lot of the invincibility frames from moves like Aura Slide and Fake Death. Fake Death is only broken online. If you ever, fought an AI using Fake Death, or even another person using Fake Death offline, you know the move is trash offline. It's online that it gets all the invincibility frames from. And the same thing with Aura Slide. Now granted, Aura Slide does do some stupid stuff even offline, but the fact that the move is weaker in general, good enough for me. Rise to Action needed to get nerfed because I'm sure they realized that Charged Key Wave was just a weaker version of it, and Rise to Action was way too quick, so of course they took appropriate ways to nerf it, and thank you. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. You have ones like Divine Retribution which are weird. They may allow you to actually use the downward slash after throwing the projectile. For those of you who use Divine Retribution, you know what I'm talking about. So that would actually be crazy if they do allow that. The rest of the moves are increased damage, or just increase the amount of time that you're stunned in them. So let's just move on to the next set. Atomic Blast, Earth Shattering Gallic Gun, Time Control, Mach Punch and Mach Kick, Raccoon Racer Gun, Crushable, Sulza Blade, Ginyu Force Special Combo, and Holstein Shock. Atomic Blast in general is just going to do more damage, and apparently even more if you fire it from the ground, so you know, I guess that's good. Time control, in my opinion, already throws people for long enough. It doesn't need to do it for longer, but oh well, can't complain. Ginyu Force combination has a ton of stuff changed to it, such as the priority and the reach of the certain combination you use. Pulse Fan Shock does a bit more damage to you. They said it changes the amount of damage to you, but I've heard that it changes the damage by almost, like, the damage is crazy. I've heard it's a ton of damage to you, which is kind of the point of the, you're using the move to hurt yourself, right? So I would imagine that when you use it, you want to actually, like, really, really hurt yourself. So it's really a good change for, you know, the one person out there who uses Pulse Fan Shock. The next moves are Emperor Sign, Death Psycho Bomb, Death Crasher. It's supposed to be Crasher. It's supposed to be Nova Strike. Death Slicer, the Death Psycho Bomb combo, Crazy Finger Shot, Burning Slash, Drain Field, Endless Shoot, and Deadly Dance. A lot of these moves are, yeah, good changes to them. We'll see more moves used online. That's all I really care about. Moves are actually used online and will actually be useful. So if I want to use a different move, I can use it. But to break up the confusion between Death Psycho Bomb and Death Psycho Bomb combo, Death Psycho Bomb is going to do more damage. Death Psycho Bomb combo, for those of you who play Final Form Frieza, Death Psycho Bomb combo is what you get if you use Death Psycho Bomb at, like, near point blank range, when the camera angle changes to, like, Frieza's lower perspective, and it shows him bring the person up and blow them up. I think that is an animation that is unique to Frieza himself, when he's using it from point blank range. So what I think they're saying here is that if you use Death Psycho Bomb from closer, it will have a camera angle change that makes the move do even more damage. Which is, I mean, the move is pretty easy to connect point blank regardless. It's probably easier to connect point blank than it is to do in a knockback. So the extra damage is kind of unnecessary. But, you know, for those of you who've always wanted the move to be good, because it's always taken 2 bars of ki to use that super, and it never does any damage. So at least it's getting damage now, as well as a cool camera angle change. For those who, yeah, for those who want to feel like they're actually blowing someone up. Drain Field absorbing ultimates wasn't a thing I think it actually did have in Xenoverse 1. They removed it for Xenoverse 2 because ultimates, they just did. In Xenoverse 1, people would throw out ultimates casually, so it makes sense that I could absorb ultimates. But in Xenoverse 2, everyone connected them in a stamina breaker combo, so they just removed it for some reason. But it's back now, so that's great. The next moves are Innocence Cannon, Angry Hit, Explosive Boo Boo Punch, Go-Go Gum. I'm sure you guys remember that beautiful move. Free Bomber, Majin Kamehameha, Vanishing Ball, Quick Sleep, Consecutive Super Donuts, which is the multiple galactic donuts, and Burst Attack. I am happy about a lot of the changes to the Majin moves. The Majin moves, yeah, while a lot of them are unique to Majins, I do genuinely like using Majin-based moves on, guess what, my Majin. So I'm really happy for stuff like the tracking to Vanishing Ball and the Explosive Boo Boo Punch change time, because that's great. I really like using those moves. However, I'm not really satisfied with what they did to Free Bomber. It seems like the move is just better. And for those of you who fight female Majins online, you'd probably hate Free Bomber as much as anyone would hate Sneaky Strike. But aside from that, let's keep going forward. The next few moves are Burst Reflection, Spinning Whirlwind Blade, which is Whirlwind Spin, Whirlwind Blade, whatever they called it in this game, Big Bang Kamehameha, Bluff Kamehameha, and this one I'm actually super excited for. Dynamic Kick, Present for You, Meteor Rush, which is supposed to be Meteor Crash, I'm sure, Gallic Death Beam, which is Gallic Beam Cannon, Super Shot God Flash, and Burst Kamehameha. A lot of the changes with these moves is that they just combo better, but there are some ones like Big Bang Kamehameha that they actually decrease the amount of time you need to shoot it, but they increase the maximum amount of time you would need to charge it to max. So for example, if you're one of those people that likes to do Super Saiyan Big Bang Kamehameha, it will take a lot longer to charge up to max, which is good, because you should actually know how to play the game by now. You shouldn't need to rely on teleporting behind people and blasting them. Bluff Kamehameha is actually super hype, because now it actually looks like you're going to do a Kamehameha, which adds comedy to it when you're using it. You could like heavy stamina brick someone and make them think, oh, it's the end of the fight, and then you just shoot confetti in their face. Because with Bluff Kamehameha, it was way too obvious before that you were actually using it. Your character doesn't charge up a blast, they just kind of do the pose, and it's just really obvious that, oh, he's just wasting my time. Alright, ignored. You know what I mean. I'm 100% sure Meteor Rush is supposed to be Meteor Crash, and if it does do knockbacks at the end of the combo, that's great, but the problem with Meteor Crash is that it's not really a sustainable or safe move to use. So the knockbacks could genuinely help it a lot, but at the same time it does use up a ton of ki for almost nothing in return, so take what you will about that. I'm happy that they did increase the damage for Super Shock God Flash, however they probably did make it just back into its Xenoverse 1 phase, because you can combo at the end of Super Shock God Flash now, so a bit of a scary thought. I would hate to be hit by a counter just to be comboed immediately after. Oh wait, no, sorry, Burst Rush exists, so technically it's not that bad, is it? Next moves on the list are, and this first one is weird. Focus Flash, if you activate it during a burst dash, it makes you move forward before you attack. I don't know how to explain that one. We'll move on to that one later. Tail Slash does increased damage. Emperor's Blast does more damage. Feint Crash is easier to connect, as well as that it's easier to follow up with other attacks. Because Feint Crash before was a combo move. No one even knows what Feint Crash is. I'm gonna stop. Destructive Beam is the I-Beam from Metacooler. Sonic Rush, Super Explosive Wave, which is the one-handed Gohan move, future Gohan move. Kill Driver, Sudden Storm. And I'm gonna stop there because the next few ones are ultimates, and I do want to talk about the ultimates for quite a bit. Again, a lot of these moves had weird, cool changes to them. A Focus Flash, you can activate it during a burst dash. So do they mean burst dash, or do they mean like during like boosting throughout the air? It's kind of hard to tell, but if there's a move that you can get like a surprise attack on someone, they'll just think that you're flying away from them casually. Then you know you just shift around in the air while shooting the blast. That would be cool. But at the same time, I don't know if that's exactly what it is, because a lot of these are kind of rough translations, so bear with me. Sonic Rush is unvanishable once the camera angle changes. I'm sure they mean for the last hit, because the last hit is the only time the camera angle actually fully changes. And Super Explosive Wave, the future Gohan attack, you can guard after you backflip now, which I guess that's good. You can throw people off guard with it. They'll just think that you're... I mean, to be fair, they might actually confuse it for the other super attack, backflip, and not try to hit you anyways, because anyone who backflips has more priority than you in Xenoverse. And now we are onto the ultimate attacks. People might be disappointed with the first one. Dragon Fist is completely unvanishable now. Nothing you can do. All you can do is use an evasive to escape it, which... It's still good. If you use an evasive, you'd have priority over the person using Dragon Fist when they do come out of the dragon. So, it's not completely bad. It could be a bit annoying for some, but at least finally there's an actual solid way to escape it. Before, we had to rely on inconsistent vanishes and inconsistent changes to escaping the move. Personally, I feel like they should have just made the move the way it was when it first came out in the game. The way Dragon Fist was first designed when it came out was that if you had stamina, you could recover out of the dragon before it touches you, meaning you would be fine. You'd just be completely fine. Even in most cases, based on the timing of your recovery, you'd actually have more priority than a person who tried to hit you with a Dragon Fist. But the problem was that if someone was stamina broken, you can't actually recover in the air. So the dragon would hit you if you're stamina broken. If you're not stamina broken, you'd be completely fine. Now we're in this weird limbo of, can you vanish out of the dragon? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Maybe you need to use an evasive now. Maybe it's a bit much. But at least we finally have a solid conclusion, just evasive out of it. Yeah, free bars of stamina for an ultimate is a bit ridiculous, but at the same time, when people try to hit you with other unvanishable nonsense, we have to use the free bars of stamina to also escape that. So, it is what it is. We kind of just have to tough through it. Super Spirit Bomb now only uses health super armor. It doesn't use stamina super armor. I would have just preferred if they made the move faster in general, but at least, I mean, a lot of people won't really care for Super Spirit Bomb. So you know what I mean. If you're charging up Super Spirit Bomb, someone's gonna try and break your stamina. They're gonna be like, oh, I have a great idea. What if I just break his stamina? And then you know, they don't break your stamina, and then you just hit them with the Spirit Bomb. But I would have just preferred if the move was faster, because it's not that we were worried that people would hit us before we use it. It's just that we're worried if the move was fast enough to get someone. So they could have removed that really dumb animation where your character roars and screams at the start. It could have just went straight to the part where your character jumps in the air and charges it up. They could have done that. But I mean, the health super armor isn't bad. The only problem I have with it is that can you be grabbed out of this health super armor? Again, we'll have to find out. Scattering Kamehameha does increase damage, and the Ki Blasts are easier to hit with. The Ki Blasts at the center are easier to hit with. Darkness Rush, both forms of it. You can't use an evasive out of them, you can do that anyways. And the final hit for Darkness Rush should connect a lot more than before. You know, the Eye Blast part at the end that usually always misses if someone gets their stamina back. Should be able to connect now. Elegant Blast has increased speed, and the tracking of the beam is a lot better. And you cannot lock onto someone once they do reappear. I think that's what they mean here. I don't think you can lock on someone once they reappear until the ultimate's actually finished. Meaning it's a lot more of a guessing game now. For when you're looking for someone. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't still be too hard to find them. I don't think it would be. The Doria Launcher has better tracking for the Scattered Blast. Timeskip Molotov does more damage. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. For all of you who use Timeskip Molotov out there, just join me in prayer. We finally got the buff for the move we need. Thank you. Thank you. There's tears in my eyes, hold on. Super Black Kamehameha is now unvanishable. The regular one, not the Rose one. The Super Black Kamehameha, you cannot escape from the move part way. I'm assuming they mean that it's unvanishable now. And to kind of counteract that, I don't know what kind of joke this is, but with Rose Kamehameha, now that's the one that does more damage, because they both did the same damage before, they just had different, like, uses. And it made Ningen's filthier. I don't know if that's a joke. I don't know if this one is also unvanishable now. I mean, Super Rose Kamehameha was already unvanishable, it was just slower. So, I don't know. The way I see it, I think Black Kamehameha is unvanishable, and Rose Kamehameha is the exact same move, it just does more damage now. So, I guess that's fine, because I could use both of them quite easily. Super Black Kamehameha being as fast as it is and unvanishable is a bit silly, but again, we'll have to see how that actually is like. Impulse Slash is now easier to hit with, and you cannot vanish out of it. Okay, thank you, because Impulse Slash was kind of bad, it doesn't need that. God of Destruction's Menace, the worst ultimate in the game. Got a damage increase, and is even easier to connect the multiple hits. Hopefully it stuns people for longer when the blasts are coming by, because the problem with God of Destruction's Menace is that it literally it didn't even combo with itself. It didn't stagger the person for long enough, and it did no damage. So hopefully that these exact buffs are exactly what I'm thinking that they are, and they do actually stun the person for a bit longer, and that it does combo with itself. The next ones on the list are Brave Sword Attack, it does increase damage and it's easier to connect. Break Cannon, I think that's Nappa's ultimate, does increase damage. Final Explosion does even more damage and you lose less stamina for using it. So Final Explosion might actually be a one-shot now. Because the move already did a ton of damage, it's just that it drains your stamina and people weren't the biggest fans of that. But if it drains your stamina a lot less and it does even more damage, it's most likely a one-shot now. Final Shine Attack does more damage, it didn't really need it, the move was already super strong. Blue Hurricane has increased range of attack and it's easier to connect multiple hits. So it might be the Xenoverse 1 Blue Hurricane again. For those of you who played Xenoverse 1, you probably have the same amount of fear in you as I do. Crusher Volcano has better tracking, Double Death Slicer does increase damage, and it takes longer for the Destructor Discs to disappear, meaning you have more time to control the discs to your favor. Last Emperor does more damage, Heat Dome Attack made each hit easier to connect. I don't know what that means, the move works fine already. Dead End Bullet is easier to connect and there's no pause during the attack. Shocking Death Ball does increase damage and it's sped up time for a hit confirm. I'm assuming that the move will go straight to the second part a lot faster if someone's being hit by the first part of it. I don't exactly know what that means by sped up time for hit confirm. Dual Destructor Disc has improved tracking. Dual Dead End Rain is easier to hit. Innocence Breath has changed the number of hits for it to be counted. I think you can't use an evasive out of it until like maybe the last few hits, or maybe you can use an evasive in the first few hits. I don't know, this is weird. Super Vanishing Ball has increased tracking again, because apparently the tracking needs to be changed every time. Instant Transmission Vanishing Ball, which is Teleporting Vanishing Ball, is now easier to connect each part with. So I would have preferred if they just made it so that whatever direction you throw the ball in would be the direction of where the enemy is or was. But they just made it so that, it will just connect better with itself, I think. I mean, Teleporting Vanishing Ball already worked if you comboed it with the... Because I'm sure everyone knows it's a two-part move. The first part damages the person and stuns them. And the second part would be the actual, throwing of the ball, which would finish them off. Spirit Sword is unblockable, and it's impossible to evasive out of it. Okay. And every hit of Spirit Sword is easier to connect. I think what they mean by that is that the first spin will connect well, and the second spin may also connect pretty decently. I don't know, because most of the problem that people had with Spirit Sword was that people could usually just leave before the first spin would even happen, and the second spin almost never connected. The second spin almost literally never connects. That's the problem that people had with Spirit Sword, not that you could block Spirit Sword. Again, we have to see how much these changes actually do matter when things do come out. So we'll just wait for that. Sphere of Destruction, increased speed and tracking, hopefully not to Xenoverse 1 levels. Ice Cannon is easier to connect with. Maiden Burst, you can't Z-vanish out of the second part of the move now. That was the problem with the move. Minus Power Ball with Omega Shannon ultimate has increased damage and it's easier to hit with. So maybe they made the projectile faster, maybe the charge time is slower, or faster I meant. Who knows? Symphonic Destruction is uncounterable and the time is longer. I think what they mean by that is that you can't use an evasive out of it and the move lasts for a longer amount of time. I don't know. I don't know. Super Gala Gun has increased speed of hit confirm, and it needs less time to charge. So that's good. As someone who uses Super Gala Gun, I do feel like you can actually use it pretty decently, even the way it was before. But now, no, it's even better for people like me at least. So thanks for that. Empress Death Beam does increase damage, and the person will always be sent flying, regardless if you have enough ki to do the final hit or not. Health Flash does more damage and it's easier to connect with. One-armed Kamehameha's additional input consumes less ki. Because for those of you who don't know, one-armed Kamehameha Mark II needed 6 bars of ki for you to use the entire like full thing. So now it should hopefully only use 4. Because 6 bars of ki to only get damage that's a little bit higher than some free bar ultimates, and actually still less than some free bar ultimates, was a bit dumb. So hopefully, yeah, hopefully it only uses 4 bars of ki, because before it needed 6 bars of ki. Dimension Ray has a spare the pit confirmed, and there's no pause during the charge. The move is also easier to combo into after you hit someone. That's great. That's all the ultimates. The final things they changed are the transformations. Only three, and it's the lesser transformations, because all of the ones that everyone uses online actually works. Power Pole Master, Power Pole Pro, I think that's what it's called, you know, for English speakers. They decreased the idle time between the steps. I think they mean the steps of the transformation. They increased the damage needed for you to break out of it. So basically the super armor that helped protect you, it will be there for a lot less time. No, it'll be there for a lot more time. So they'll take way more hits basically to actually take someone out of the transformation. Become Giant, which is the Namekian transformation. They decrease the amount of stamina that drained when you are in the form, and they improve the tracking on the Demon Mouth Blast, which is the blast that shoots out of your mouth when you're a giant Namekian. Alright, sweet. And Purification, the final thing that they changed for Majins, of course. There is no stamina decrease after you transform. They decrease the amount of stamina used to dash around and do dash attacks, and stamina drains when you block. So basically when you're doing like the Majin like dodge thing, the Ultra Instinct that is really broken in worse netcodes or worse online situations, it actually drains stamina to use it now. And that's all the moves or things that they changed. We don't even know about all the changes that they made to original characters yet, because if they changed Toa, like they buffed Toa a lot, they haven't actually showed us what they buffed of Toa. They've told us what they buffed of Toa in V-Jump. That's pretty much it, so we have to actually still play Toa. If they change the character as weird and as not played as Toa, they probably made a lot of changes to I'm hoping they made a lot of changes to original characters, because people like Hit need to be dumbed down by a lot, as well as needing some stuff with some characters just flat out removed, or they need some stuff added. I mean, there's tons of characters that have combos that don't even work. Jiren and Raditz are a few examples I can think of that have combos that just don't actually work, like at all. And that should be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like on it. Subscribe if you like what you see, or subscribe if you weren't subscribed before. And I will see you guys in the next video, which should hopefully be actual DLC 7 content. And that's it. See you guys next time.